most fun and most rewarding single lap that we do all year.
Terrific natural terrain.
GT racing at its best.
Home of the S's.
No free passes in either of these classes right now.
A lot of change of direction, very high grip surface.
You really have to be brave here on the opening lap.
Corner, 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 straight.
Elbows are up, Tommy.
A roller coaster.
America's motorsports resort.
Honestly, I'm going to have to go and see a cardiac specialist if they all end up like this year.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
VIR, the most fun and most rewarding single lap that we do all year.
Terrific natural terrain.
GT racing at its best.
Home of the S's.
No free passes in either of these classes right now.
A lot of change of direction, very high grip surface.
You really have to be brave here on the opening lap.
Corner, 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 straight.
Elbows are up, Tommy.
A roller coaster.
America's motorsports resort.
Honestly, I'm going to have to go and see a cardiac specialist if they all end up like this year.
Recently chosen as one of Car and Driver magazine's top 6 road courses in the nation, Virginia International Raceway sits at the pinnacle of American road racing. Featuring wheel-to-wheel action from the horseshoe to the roller coaster, from Oak Tree to Hog Pen and everywhere in between, VIR is simply the American motorsport experience that every driver and fan alike should have on their bucket list. This 3.27-mile speed fest has seen it all, and today we see a fleet of Mazda MX-5s roll into VIR's paddock for Operation eMotorsport's iRacing season opener. The first of 8 contests on the schedule. Welcome, race fans, to Pit Stop TV. As usual, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter tonight. JP Costa is with me in the booth, and Trey Shuttlesworth with race analysis and social media coverage. I am Andrew Cardinale IV, and this is Pit Stop TV's live coverage of the Operation eMotorsport iRacing League. We join you tonight from the virtual Alton, Virginia for round 1 of 8 on this season. And JP, it's so good to be with you here this afternoon at Virginia. It's getting close to nighttime in real life here. I'm looking out the window not far from VIR myself, and there's still light outside, but it is starting to get towards night. But these guys in the sim will have the heat of day to battle with as they wrestle their Mazdas around this place.
Yeah, what a way to start the season. Great racetrack, full of sweeping turns. No room for mistakes, no runoff areas. A true racetrack for some people. And it's going to be a great race. What a way to start the season. It's going to be a fantastic race. It's full of opportunities. If you make a simple mistake, it can cost you positions. And hopefully we can see some great wheel-to-wheel racing here.
Absolutely. And to kick things off this evening, we're going to be getting right down to it. We're going to be talking to a very, very special guest this evening. And Diesel Lauder, do you have a copy?
Of course.
Well, Diesel, we've talked a bit pre-race, getting things all squared away and making sure that these broadcasts can happen. But now we get to talk to you here on Pit Stop TV. You are the founder and CEO of Operation Motorsport, and I'm just going to give you the floor. Go ahead and tell us all about Operation Motorsport, what you guys do, and what we can expect out of this league.
Thanks. It's a real honor to be able to speak to everybody for this inaugural first race of our league by RECARO, which is a really cool thing. Who would have thought a couple of months ago that we would actually have an iRacing league with an honest sponsorship and all kinds of drivers, beneficiaries, sponsors, volunteers on the track, putting this together and going racing. We've been in existence for 3 years now. It's been an interesting 3 years. It's been a very fulfilling 3 years, and it's been challenging, and now COVID's made that even a little bit more challenging. So a little history on Operation Motorsport, a little history on myself. I'm a veteran. I got 35 years in the Canadian Airborne. I was a sergeant major when I retired in 2015. I knew I needed a transition out of the military, and I found motorsport. Now, I found it by accident. I'm a long time motorsport lover. I'm a driver of sports cars, etc. for a long time, and my wife and I found a company and got involved in sports car racing. And when I retired, I needed something to keep myself busy, and so this business had a life of its own. And along the way, we met some good people. One in particular, Greer Martin, who's driving right now. I think he's qualifying out there. Greer is a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserves. He's a JAG, but he's also a member of the House North Carolina. And we've been friends for a number of years, both paratroopers. And so Greer suggested to us that in 2016 we should go over to the UK and see this thing called the Race of Remembrance. And my wife Tiffany gave me permission. We could go to Wales. And so off we went and into the Welsh countryside, and we watched this amazing 12-hour race in Anglesey, Wales, on the Isle of Anglesey. And the entire event revolved around Remembrance Day. So on Sunday, in the middle of this 12-hour race, they red flagged the race, and they basically did a full formation parade, remembrance service, right on pit lane, with a bugler and bagpipes and laying of wreaths and everything. It was racers, drivers, crew members. If you served, you put your beret and your medals right on top of your crew suit, your driving suit, and there was tears, and there was, it was just an amazing time. And to see this and learn about what they were doing in recovery programs for ill, injured, and wounded service members was amazing. So we decided we need to come back. We need to come back and bring North American, Canadian, and U.S. service members, ill and injured service members over and compete as a team. So we had a mission. And in 2017, that was the plan. Well, as you know, every good snowball that comes down a hill, it grows. And next thing you know, we launched this not-for-profit. To keep, with our sister, what was going to become our sister charity, Mission Motorsport, we were called Operation Motorsport. So a sidebar on that, Operation Motorsport. Operations in the military term have no beginning and no end. And such is the service that we provide, recovery opportunities to our ill and injured and wounded service members, is that there's no beginning and no end to their time with us. It's not like we say, it's not a sausage machine where, you come in and you stay with us for 8 weeks and you're good to go. That's not the way it works. You're with us forever. And so we looked at, the environment in North America for racing and what could we do, and decided that, Operation Motorsport would provide these recovery programs through motorsport opportunities. We had to come up with a catchy, a catchy couple of words to put together, and that's where excite, engage, and empower come from. So those were the key programs, the beginning of what we did on the program side. And excite really goes back to every soldier, airman, and sailor. Why did they join the military in the first place? The shiny bits. They all like the shiny bits. It's why it's so many soldiers will tell you they miss that high speed atmosphere, whether it's flying a jet or firing a weapon or doing whatever. So the Excite program really is a lot of trickery and tomfoolery, in that we say, come on out, no pressure, and just hang out with racers. We'll put you with a race team, and guess what? We're going to turn around and we'll go to our pillars, and we're going to give you an identity, a team identity, a new one. Because what happens to a lot of service members, not a lot, every service member who's medically retired loses their team. They lose their identity, they lose their fire team partner, and they're taken out of that, and then they feel like they have no purpose and they have no team. So what we do is we try to give them back the identity, the team, and that purpose. And that's what we ask every team. When we partner with a team in motorsport, we say, these are your obligations. Operation Motorsport is going to support with providing all the logistics, transportation and rooms and whatever it happens to be. That's what we're going to provide. The team, you're going to provide a jersey for these guys. That's a new identity, a new team shirt, a crew shirt. You're going to then, provide them with a team environment, and you're going to give them a job, give them a purpose. From a private all the way to sergeant major, everything is important. Everyone's responsibility and role is important. You know, sweeping a floor is still important, all the way up to driving the car. So we make sure that the teams take care of all that for our guys. And that's really the Excite program. Part of the Excite program also includes diversionary therapy. And that, in a nutshell, is things that help the guys that are going through. A lot of these guys have operational stress injuries, you know, PTSD and traumatic brain injuries. And the diversionary therapy is what helps them just get away from that, decompress. And so from that first Excite program, Engage leads up to the next step, which is, you know, figuring out what you want to do. And really, we're a recovery program. We're not an agency that gets people jobs. What we do is we just show these guys that there is life after medical discharge. It may not be with us forever. It may be come and leave. And what we find is that so many of these guys end up making contacts, and they talk to each other on a daily basis. They lean on each other, and they wait months until they get to see their track buddies that they've met at the track. And so leading into what we're doing now is, with COVID, we were challenged. What do we do now? I mean, we can't have these guys come to events. We can't go to these guys. What do we do? So we had this plan. Let's do iRacing. And if it really works, and it was a challenge at first, but if it works, maybe that should become part of our diversionary therapy. So what's really exciting about this is we're going to be launching Operation Motorsport Academy. That's our next thing. And in Academy, we'll have Motorsport 101, Motorsport 101.2, where guys will learn the basics of, you know, motorsport and how to do things. But the other thing that's exciting about this is the guys that show potential through this iRacing will be afforded opportunities to actually go to a track, to go to places like Calabogie and get into a Mazda Miata and do laps. And eventually, we're all going to go back to Wales, and we're going to race as a team. We do that now already, but we don't have drivers that come from our ranks. So this whole iRacing program is going to fit really nicely into putting the whole package together. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. There's a lot more, but that's kind of the nutshell of what we do.
And I'll tell you what, Diesel, that was a whole lot of nutshells, because you monologued for like 10 minutes right there, and that was awesome. I mean, that's awesome for us to get a better idea, for everybody else to get a better idea, and it shows that there is true passion behind what you guys are doing. It's not just something to look good. I mean, there is passion going into your work and making sure that these, of course, injured, disabled, recovering servicemen and women can have a path to rehab through motorsport, and maybe even find new hobbies after their recovery, and once they're totally recovered, go back home, whatnot, they can tune into motorsport. They can go find maybe even careers in motorsport. I think that would definitely be the hope. So the work you guys are doing is amazing. I'm so happy for that reason that we get to cover your guys' iRacing series and get our little foot in the door, and hopefully, just like one league that we were there for this past weekend at Charlotte, hopefully go around to real races with you guys as well and meet you guys in person, and be there for to see firsthand what you guys are doing for injured, disabled, and recovering servicemen and women.
It is. It's very exciting to have Pit Stop TV with us. I'm watching a big screen, 65-inch here in front of me, and I can tell you that this is one of the highlights of 2020 for me. There has been a lot of highlights, but watching this right now and watching it unfold and having you guys with us is definitely a highlight of 2020 that will be noted in the history of Operation Motorsport for all time going forward.
And that means a ton to us as well, to to be able to make that kind of difference in a year that really has not been a year to remember. Hopefully we can create some stuff to remember here in 2020, and we look forward to the 8 race season rather ahead of us. We're obviously starting this evening at VIR. We're going to Road America next week. I mean, we got Charlotte, we've got COTA on the schedule. We got some really good racetracks coming up in the next 8 weeks that I cannot wait to cover.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to our family, and you're stuck with us now.
That's right. Like you said, we are stuck with you guys. So, Diesel, thank you for joining us in the booth, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again at some point this season. Again, thank you so much for having us, and we'll be talking to you later on.
Thanks to you guys. Have a good race.
And that's Diesel Lauder, again, founder and CEO of Operation Motorsport. We thank him for bringing us on. And Tiffany and Jason, I hope you guys are watching or watch back after this. I think Jason's going to give it a shot in the car this evening, but we thank all of you guys for having us, and RECARO, we thank you for your support as well, because of course RECARO is sponsoring, and you know, I'm just going to go right to our RECARO plug that I've got down here. Let me pull that back up on my screen, and quite simply, whether it's on the track or iRacing, RECARO Automotive is all about making driving safer, more comfortable, and more controlled. A driving experience that you can really feel. RECARO Automotive puts people first every time. An ergonomic sitting position means a comfortable position. With perfect seat contours and innovative features that support your body, RECARO Automotive makes driving fun, be it on the road or racetrack. And RECARO Automotive performance seats are more than just a set of components. They exude innovation, quality, premium materials, craftsmanship, and a genuine passion for cars. RECARO Automotive is proud to support Operation eMotorsport's iRacing League. And this evening, JP, we have a doozy of an event to open things up. Virginia International Raceway is definitely one of the underused racetracks, I feel like, on iRacing, and it's because it's tough. It's because it is definitely, like I said, at the pinnacle, of American motorsport. It's tough, it's challenging, and it really throws these drivers for a loop. This evening, we've got, we have 19 so far Mazda MX-5s ready to tango with this beast of a motorsports facility, and I'm so excited as they wrap up qualifying here. Up in P1 currently, he's sitting in the pits, but it's Chris Walsh with our fastest time on the evening, on the session. Daniel Morad in second place, and Adam Poppenhaus in third. So that's your top three currently. We might get some times rolling in here in the last couple of minutes. Richard Hazlitt up there as well in the number 59. He is currently fourth. I see Dustin Burkhatter in fifth, and I'll get the whole grid, lineup so far. The ticker up on the left side of your screen there. You can see all the names. And I will say, we have a Jay Gleason in the number 3. It's not Jackie Gleason. Jay Gleason joining us this evening in the number 3. He's currently 13th, and hopefully he can get up there a little bit, mix it up with those guys up in the front. Chris Walsh, Daniel Morad, again, those guys would currently sit on our front row.
Can you hear me? Can you get a copy?
Yes, we got you. I was just going to say, looks like we're having some mic troubles with JP Costa. Welcome back to the booth. It's actually the first time we've had you in the booth here on Pit Stop TV, and I'm so glad that we have you, and you'll be joining us for a lot more road racing throughout the rest of 2020 and hopefully beyond. So yeah, welcome to Pit Stop TV, man. I know we're kind of throwing you right to the wolves. You and I here for some Mazda MX-5 action at VIR. It's certainly one of the more challenging racetracks, as I mentioned, and it's a challenging one to call as well.
Yeah, first time here. I'm really proud and really thankful, be getting this opportunity, and what a track to start on. This is a great track. It's one of those that you really have to pull laps in to feel comfortable and get fast. I was looking while Diesel was, monologuing. I was looking at the times, and you could see like every lap people are improving. You get comfortable, you get fast, you can push more. And obviously a mistake here is costly. We don't have runoff areas. One wheel on the grass can be at the end of the race, or you can lose a lot of positions. So it's really going to be an exciting race, and well, it's a difficult track, so it should be really exciting. People should be aggressive, have a lot of opportunities to pass. And yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this evening. Again, Operation eMotorsport. Well, Operation Motorsport coming to us for the Operation eMotorsport portion of their program. And So happy, so fortunate, so lucky to be here covering this event and the rest of the season as well. We're still working out whether or not I'll be on the broadcast next week, but we'll have you next week. I just may or may not be absent. I'll be off in Colorado. That's going to be a whole thing, a whole situation for us to work out, but we're looking forward to it. Before we end up wrapping qualifying here, we've got something to actually touch on real quick. If I can bring that back up, should be, there we go. So the VIR campsite contest. Now this is going to play into VIR's IMSA weekend coming up the weekend of August 23rd. Make your VIR campsite at home. You can see VIR Campsite Contest at Home 2020. So build your VIR campsite as if you were at the track that weekend. Send them pictures. You can send those pictures by email to msmith@virnow.com before August 23rd at noon Eastern Time. The campsite must be creative, it must be appropriate for all ages, and it must show love and passion for VIR, IMSA. Virginia is for racing lovers or racing in general. And the top 3 campsites will receive VIR, IMSA, and other partner swag. Make sure to post a photo of your virtual campsite on social media and tag VIR Now and use hashtag VIR Camp. And I just might have to set one up myself and see what we can't do. I love going up to VIR. It's definitely one of my favorite racing facilities so far. I mean, it's up there with Daytona on that list. It is an amazing, amazing facility. Really love going up there and going to the Oak Tree Tavern. There we go. Each and every time we're up there. It's an amazing place, amazing food, amazing atmosphere, and I can't wait for my next trip back to the facility. That said, enough about my experiences there. Let's go ahead and get into the starting grid this evening, shall we? And we have, again, let's see, around 19 cars turning in, and we'll just get right into it. Row number 1, we get Chris Walsh and Daniel Morad, a couple of wheelmen up front. Row number 2 gives us Adam Poppenhaus and Richard Hazlitt in 4th. In 5th, it's Dustin Burkhalter, and Hunter Reeve to his outside in 6th. Going back to row number 4, it's Joe Keentz and Jonathan Winker. And finally, ending the top 10, wrapping it up, Jason Leach in 9th and Jacob Williams in 10th.
Starting off in 11, we have Glenn Gray and Theo Brosma. I hope I didn't butcher that name. In 13th place, we have Callum Belden and Jay Gleason. I'm sorry again. In 15th place, we have Timothy Bernard and Brian Burkhardt. Yes. And Keenan Gallagher and Mark Bray rounds up 17th and 18th, respectively. In 19th, we have Brian Winker. And those are our 19 cars today for the race.
So 19 cars will be coming to the green flag here shortly. And I don't know a ton about Daniel Morad, but what I do know is he had an iRacing series going recently with one of his racing groups, and he absolutely stomped all over the competition, and I cannot wait to see what Daniel can do this evening here at VIR. He is in the Barbie number 17, so that has me asking some questions. But we look forward to seeing him mix it up, go wheel to wheel with these guys. He's, again, on that front row with the, oh gosh, I already forgot. Again, getting used to some names. Chris Walsh in the number 28, that's right, to his inside. Pace car lights, of course, are off. We'll be going this time at the start-finish line. We do have a track map to look at, though. VIR, again, a tricky place, so it takes some guiding to get around here. Turns 1 and 2, pretty much just the horseshoe as a whole complex. You go down to NASCAR Bend and left hook for 3 and 4, through 5, 5A, and into the lower S's. You drive up the hill a bit, up into the upper S's, 7, 8, 9, 10 is South Bend, and then you drop down that hill that you just saw and back up through Oak Tree. Now they're heading down the back stretch past South Paddock and up towards Roller Coaster 13, 14, 15, into that final complex of corners, 16, 17, Hog Pen. We don't really go by corner numbers too much. It's really just complex names, and they are some great names. I mean, Horseshoe, NASCAR Bend, South Bend, Oak Tree especially an iconic corner in motorsport, and of course here at VIR. Roller Coaster Hog Pen, I think, is one of the most creative ones out there as they dip down the roller coaster. Now we're coming to the green flag here shortly. JP Costa, Again, so glad to have you with me in the booth. I know it's your first time here with us, so you know what? I'm going to give you the privilege, possibly even the pressure, of calling the green flag. JP, it's your call.
Well, thank you. I hope I don't kill this, but yeah, Chris Walsh is getting ready to... Oh, I think... No, they're not going yet. The pace car is going to be hopping into the pits soon. And let's see. Chris Walsh is going to be guiding the pace, and I guess they're going. So, David Moore got a really good exit. I'm pretty sure they're still side-by-side as the green flag waves. And there they go. They're side-by-side, so it's going to be a fun run down to turn 1, obviously. Chris Walsh is down the inside, but looks like Daniel Moore got the best exit as he's P1 already. So let's see if he can get the run down into turn 1 and the braking. Yeah, unfortunately he has to yield due to the track. No, he doesn't. Oh, he's going around the outside, and there we go. That's unfortunately the nature of the corner, but he's going to be sticking down the inside as they go into turns 2 and 3 as the NASCAR band, and he's going to stick down the inside. Oh, almost. So pretty clean start from the top 2, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing more racing, more side-by-side action in a few corners.
It's a very clean start for the entire field here to open up the Operation eMotorsport season. You see some battling here a little further back in the field. We are focused currently on Joe Keentz and Dustin Burkhalter. They are racing for 6th and 7th, and right now Dustin has the leg up. And under the bridge here between lower and upper S's they go. Chris Walsh continues to lead. He has Daniel Morad in tow, Richard Hazlitt in third. You see them coming up over the hill through the upper S's. It's certainly a challenging set of corners. You got to nail it all just right, and you've got to be completely on your marks. One spinner behind. Is that Poppenhaus around? No, that is Hazlitt that goes around out of South Bend, and he's going to get that car gathered back up in the grass and get back onto the racing surface before Oak Tree. Glad that he got that ship righted a little bit, and they're going to race now down onto the backstretch. Walsh leading over Morad.
Yeah, that was a great start by everybody, and we could see the nature of the track. One simple mistake can cost you so many positions. As you can see, Daniel Murray getting real close. Is he going to try and move going down to roller coaster? He's putting the nose on the inside, but he's backs off. He's just going to be applying pressure. Remember, it's a 27-lap race. There's no need to risk it all on lap 1. But I'm pretty sure he's going to be risking it all soon. You know, it's a race. You got to race, and you got to overtake P1 for sometimes.
Yeah, and it's a 60-minute race here, JP. We've got a lot of time left. Now, it does show laps up on the ticker, and that's the estimated number of laps that we'll be racing. It's estimating about 27 laps. I don't think these cars should have to pit this evening, so we should just have a clean and green 60 minutes, about 27 laps on tap for you. We're through one lap, and now Daniel Morad going for possibly the outside run on Chris Walsh, making it go around the hard way is Walsh, and Walsh kind of moves him up a little bit, kind of moving the 17 without actually touching him just a little bit. They stay side by side into NASCAR Bend, and through 3 and 4, they're going to enter that again, that tight complex of corners before heading back up to the lower S's. And the 17 of Morad clears now Walsh, and it's lap 2, JP. He's just going to let him have that one for now, but he'll get him back later.
Yeah, due to the long straight, due to the fast corners, I'm pretty sure he can hang in the slipstream, and he can try to move after Oak Tree. But yeah, it's a really clean move. He managed to stick around the outside just enough to get a good exit into the NASCAR band, and he made it stick. Now we're going to see if Chris Walsh has the pace, has the race pace to keep it up, or is he going to be falling behind, because you can see it's a big gap to P3, already 4 seconds at the end of lap 1.
And he's all over him through South Bend. You see Morad a bit loose over the corner. And now he's going to make the move back up the inside. Here comes Walsh going for first once more. It's only lap 2. These guys are racing like it's the end. He clears him through Oak Tree. And this is great stuff already. Racing for the lead. You see the adjustment to the estimated laps. It's now 26 laps as these guys race side by side, drag race down the backstretch. And you see Morad is going to let Walsh pass for now because he wants to draft back up to him and have a move going into the roller coaster. So it might look like Morad is giving up, and he actually might for the moment. He might just let him lead through roller coaster and hog pen. But it looked for a moment like he was going to try and draft back to him. Now maybe moves to the right rear. No, he gives that spot right back to Chris Walsh. They're racing behind him, though. Hunter Reeve has third place in, well, that is a Team Huge Ass machine. Good to see Team Huge Ass in the series. I actually had no clue that they were going to have an entry. I'm glad they're here. They are a Champ Car Endurance Series team, and they compete mostly in the Champ Car Endurance iRacing Series, but also in the actual Champ Car Series at VIR. I know they just ran the 24 a little over a week ago now, and I'm sure they'll be running North Course here in December. It's good to see Huge Ass with a entry, and actually Hunter Reeve goes fastest on the racetrack that lap.
Yeah, incredible lap. Obviously, lap 2. If you're first, you can pull a gap. You can get the fastest lap. But we can see P1 and P2 were battling a bit, and Daniel, Reeve was able to get a clean lap and get the fastest lap. Depending on how we see Morad and Wash battling, we can see fastest lap from them. But looks like it's a pretty close battle for third as well.
Yeah, Poppenhaus not far back. A little further back is actually going to be Dustin Burkhalter, and that's certainly an interesting name. I'm trying to make sure. Yes, it is Burkhalter. I thought it was Burkhaller for a second. Jacob Williams back there in 6th place, and he's got a little company behind him. A little bit of a gaggle for 7th, 8th, and 9th, respectively, as Winker, Keats, and Jason Lynch rounding out that battle. Again, that is for up through 9th. So 7th through 9th, all battling right here in a row. We'll go to the onboard with Leach as he tries to chase Winker and Keats back down, but it's actually looking like he has given up a lot of time through the lower S's, now through the upper S's. We'll see if he can get some time back.
Yeah, we can see through the lower S's, sometimes if you're a bit too close to the car ahead, you can lose sight of the apex, but coming up to the upper S's, you can see now they're trying to make a move, trying to fill up the mirror, trying to force the guy into a mistake, but they're gonna hang back from now. Now he's gonna be able to get the double slipstream coming up to the back straight, and he could be in for a shot for this position.
And he's going to have the draft down the backstretch. It's a matter of nailing those shifts and maximizing his chance that he's got. He does have company, rather. That's Hazlitt's not so far behind. And Hazlitt qualified, 4th place? So he is fast. He has tons of speed. It's a matter of getting back up there and giving these guys a run for their money. So Hazlitt in the 59 car going to get right up to the back of Leach, up into roller coaster. 5 cars now in a line, a train down the roller coaster. I guess it really is a roller coaster then. Different cars in the coaster. Now they're going to head through Hogpen, and these guys, one mistake out of one of the lead cars is going to be bad trouble for the rest of them.
Yeah, you can see people with different pace. You can see him. He has the pace, and he's filling up the mirrors. He's going to be trying to force the guy into a mistake if he can't get past into a corner or into a braking zone.
We do actually have side-by-side once again for the lead. The 17 of Morad got the lead for a moment through turns 1 and 2. Now down through NASCAR Bend. He's going to nose at him. No, he actually leans back for a moment. Still side-by-side. It's so tough to call because at any moment they might just be a little bit better or worse on a shift. Maybe lose a little bit of time. A little bit better or worse over an apex, over a curb, and gain or lose some time. Oh, that was the 28 up over the curb. Walsh actually washed up just a tiny bit through the corner and almost got him. Now Morad clears himself through the lower S's.
Yeah, this is incredible race, really clean and through places where you didn't think people were going to be making moves, they're fighting each other to the limit. They're going to be forcing each other into a mistake, but it's great to see no one making a mistake and we can have this great battle for the lead.
This is great stuff between these two, and they've got to be having a ton of fun. Everybody likes going back and racing some Miatas, no matter where you've gotten in motorsport, be it real or virtual. You love just going back and racing some Miatas, throwing them around a racetrack like VIR. It's so good for it as well, among many other things. But he's going to get a big run out of, Morad gets the run out of Oak Tree, rather. I thought Walsh was going to have the momentum, but he actually gets a bit of the dirt on the outside of the corner. Those old curves, they do not like you running up over them, and they will throw your car a bit sideways, especially if you get into that dirt on the outside of corner exit. Down the backstretch up the hill, you see Walsh trying to get an edge, but the draft actually, I'm surprised by it. It's not quite as big as I thought it was going to be this evening. I thought we were really going to see these drivers draft right up to somebody and be able to make a pass. Now, they could be holding themselves back right now, but I really thought we would see that be used here in the early going.
Yeah, with the massive straight, we definitely thought we're going to be seeing some big gains, but looks like it's not happening. Maybe it was due to the bad exit out of Oak Tree, but we're going to see down to turn 1 where you can see the draft slightly kicking in, but still not enough. Looks like you got to be really close through those exits in order to try to make a move down into turn 1 or the roller coaster.
We have some battling behind, and Jason Leach, it looks like, has binned it. We'll pull up a replay for you here and see what happens to the number 22. He's already got damage. He's pulling off, and that's down by South Paddock. That's up out of Oak Tree, and, oh, man, he goes for a ride here. What has happened to the number 22 machine? He's spun around an oak tree. There's a lot of damage already to the left front of that car. And, oh, he's having some connection issues up over the hill. And that looks like that might be the source of what happens. Hopefully he doesn't take anybody else out. Oh, contact with the 17. Or sorry, that was the 12 of Poppenhaus. I think Poppenhaus continued on, though, without issue. That was not Poppenhaus. Who was that? Was that possibly the 47? No, it's tough to say who that was. I'm trying to figure it out. Getting used to some new names, some new numbers as well. Oh, it was the 32 here. That was Jacob Williams, and he does have some damage, but it looks like maybe not from that incident. And now Williams racing. He's actually lost some time. Or no, I think he's cleared Joaquin. So he's actually moved up into 6th place behind Burkhalter. And everything getting mixed up here on lap number 4, now lap number 5 for 27.
Yeah, that was pretty sad to see from Jason Leach. You know, he's having a pretty good race, you know, up in 6th, I'm pretty sure. But unfortunately, you know, connection issues, and then pretty sure could be netcode. Just pop him off of the race. But looks like we're going to have a battle for the lead here. Looks like, let's see if the slipstream can be effective if you get a good exit.
Yeah, this battle for the lead has gone nowhere. Morad still leading. Now Walsh back on the offensive. He gets right up to the back end, the back bumper there of Morad. And sometimes you'll see in the Spec Miata series throughout the country, they will give bumps to one another. And there's Walsh trying to cross and back up. They'll give bumps to one another to try and get them going down the straightaways and clear the rest of the field, just like maybe in go-kart racing. But at this point, they've already got the field gapped by 7 seconds. I think they're just going to keep doing this the entire race, all 60 minutes. And believe me, they are going to be tired after this one. Going at it, 60 minutes of VIR is going to tire you out. I mean, it's tough enough to do a 2-hour stint just riding around. So to do a 1 hour where you're battling somebody so hard, hopefully they can keep it that close for the entirety of this race. It's only lap 6. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Morad misses the braking zone for turn 1, washes up a little bit, opens the door for a moment for Chris Walsh, but he's not able to get up into that hole. He's going to have to sit back and wait for another mistake.
Yeah, you know, that's the nature of the track, and it's really nice to see, you know, both guys having the same pace and being able to stick with each other. But we're going to see that. We're going to see people trying to stick their nose out, to trying to put more pressure, you know, make the driver look in the mirror before the braking zone and maybe, you know, missing the braking zone by a bit. We saw that happening with Morad. You know, he lost a little bit of the apex on the roller coaster, and Walsh managed to close up on him. So we're going to see that coming up. You know, they're going to be trying to poke each other nose here and there to try and make the other force another driver into a mistake. But it's going to be great. You know, no driver looks like to have the edge on pace. They both look really similar, so this is going to be great.
Keeping tabs on the YouTube chat right here. Everybody loving this P1 battle. We just can't leave it yet. It's too good. Walsh all over the back end of Morad into the braking zone for Oak Tree. And man, just like Alan Space just said in the chat, Moradness. I think that's absolutely correct, because Daniel is just wheeling that number 17. He's made a couple of slip-ups, really. But otherwise, there's a reason he's P1 right now. He has been almost flawless, and he's just so quick right now in that Mazda MX-5. But he could run those tires off. I saw these guys talking about tire fall off in practice and how quickly those tires go away. He's got to be careful not to run those tires off of that Miata and not to give an opening once more to Chris Walsh, because he already opened the door once, if you remember here, JP, not so long ago. And I mean, if Chris just is able to get his nose in there one more time, he's got that position back, and it's going to be harder and harder as the laps go on to make that pass back.
Yeah, if you get your nose in, you know, you can force the driver to go into a defensive line, and then you can try to get a better exit, or you can try and hold it around the outside. You know, every single little bit of room that you leave on the apex is an opportunity for the driver behind to make a move or plan a move ahead. And, you know, this is going to be great. You know, as he sets the fastest lap of the race while fighting pressure, this is just going to be great until the flag.
Morad goes purple mid-battle. We are going to flip back to our third-place battle. Poppenhaus, Burkhalter, and Reeve all over one another. A trio of cars going off into turn 1, and it's going to be, it looks like, Poppenhaus getting the edge for now. Burkhalter in the middle of this sandwich, and Reeve on the back end in 5th place. So Reeve was third momentarily. These guys have caught him and brought the battle right to him. This for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, as soon as you start battling, unless you're the top 2, it looks like you're going to be losing a bit of time. And, you know, now it may be the time we're not sure if this driver is going to pit for fuel. I doubt it, but if they do, this could be a time to save fuel. But we can see it, the aggressiveness. No one wants to stay behind. Everybody wants to stay in front. So, you know, this is going to be great. Even for P3, you already have 3 cars battling, and they're going to be keeping at it.
This from the nose of Reeves' car, and again, he might get up there down the backstretch, maybe give a bump to one of these 2 cars to try and clear the other, and we'll see side by side, maybe into the upper S's. No, thankfully Burkhalter gives that spot back for now. Poppenhaus still leading this trio of cars. You see Morad Walsh still separated by a couple of tenths up front. I think Walsh is going to sit back and save what he's got for right now. We're going to flip up to Burkhalter's machine as he enters the braking zone behind Poppenhaus, almost gets up to him, and then leaving some room for error now, right through Oak Tree, right at that apex. You can roll that apex better and get right up to somebody, maybe even give them a shot in the shorts, but the con to that is then you lose some speed off because you're already rolling through apex and you're a little faster. You can't quite get back to the throttle the same way as if you back up that apex and then power through it. So you can kind of drive to the apex or you could drive away from the apex. Driving away gives you the better launch down the straightaway, but driving to somebody in the apex might give you the edge up in a battle. Now side by side through roller coaster they go. Burkhalter bringing the fight right back to Poppenhaus around the outside. He's got position on him and he clears him.
Yeah, that was an incredible move. You know, he stuck his nose in. Props to the 12 car. You know, he left the room there. He could have closed the door because he wasn't alongside him, but he left the door open. And he almost got pressure from Reeve. You know, we saw Reeve going quite a bit deep, but managed to clear him off. But looks like he's going to have another go at turn 1. He looks like he got a better exit out of turn 17.
Morad goes purple once more. He's now lengthened. He's leading to about a half second. These guys battling for third are now 15 seconds behind those race leaders. Poppenhaus noses back ahead through turn 1, but Burkhalter's not done. He drives it off into turn 1 and gets right back to the door of the number 12 and clears him once more, and he's got that spot right back. Third place goes back to Burkhalter. A little further back, you see that white car in the distance. That is Jacob Williams. We have some other battles throughout the field. In fact, we have one car in the pit lane. Joe Keents down the pits, and man, I'd have to imagine that's unscheduled. It looks like he's run into some trouble and has towed to the pit lane. Back up to the lead. You can see the gap has actually widened a bit between Morad and Walsh, so the fight really is for third place.
Yeah, these guys are going to keep at it. We're not sure if Walsh is saving up a bit for the end, or he's just going to keep applying pressure from a distance, you know, letting Morad know he's there. He's going to be there if he makes a mistake. But it looks like these guys in third are not going to be letting at it. He's going to be... the 3 of them wants to be in third. They want to be on the podium. As we can see, Reeve really driving into that corner. And they're going to keep at it, you know, lap after lap. Reeve could be staying back a bit, trying to hope these 2 guys can make contact and just get a clear road for him. But, you know, it's going to be a good race to the finish for third place. Looks like everybody's on the same pace. You know, a single mistake can put you right back on the battle if you pull away. And the 3 guys are going to keep at it. No, Reeve looks like it's a bit close to Poppenhaus right now, but they're going to keep at the pace. You can see him just popping off, letting him know you're there, like I'm there, and I'm going to make a move if you make a mistake into roller coaster.
Absolutely. You slip up and you're going to have company into any one of these corners. Poppenhaus in the mirrors there of Burkhalter, but really doesn't give I guess, an aggressive tone to that corner. Oh, Burkhalter sideways through roller coaster. Gives up a bit of time. These guys narrow once more. We do have a little battle further back. I just want to highlight it momentarily. Jason Leach has just gotten on by Jake Leeson. Actually, Jake Leeson with issues now. We'll see if we can't find what happens to him real quick. And it looks like it was actually some time ago. So we'll go right back up to a third place battle. Burkhalter still with company. Now side by side down the front stretch into turn 1. Poppenhaus noses ahead.
You can see here Poppenhaus. Oh, no, sorry. Walker might lose 2 positions as he gets a wheel into the grass, but manages to save it. What an incredible save there. Under brake, you know, the car could have easily pulled to the right, to the left, sorry, but that was an incredible save. Now he's dropped 2 positions. He's up to P5 right now, but he can stay back and try and get those places back.
Yeah, that was a sketchy turn 1 entry there for Burkhalter. He got the grass under braking, and that is a big no-no no matter where you are, but especially here because it just kicks the car sideways, especially in a Miata, because it is so susceptible to that. Meanwhile, the battle keeps on growing as, oh, we've got 1 car off. I think that's Jason Leach through the lower S's. He hangs onto the car for now. I'm going to try and pull up his onboard now as, no, that might have been, who was that? It's tough to say. I'm trying to find who that was. Again, some new faces, new cars, and yeah, that actually might have been Jason Leach. That's the only green car that I've seen this evening. And, well, no, he's up behind the leaders. I'm not sure who that was.
Well, whoever that was just showed the nature of the track. Even through the curves, the Mazdas can be a bit, the back end could kick out. And if you don't have good reflexes, you can lose the car and go straight into the wall. I'm not pretty sure if the driver saved it or went into the wall. But, that's the nature of the track. No runoff areas, just a mistake and you're up.
So we have about 40 minutes remaining in this 1 hour race, and you can see it's estimating about 18 laps to go. Here comes the move from Reeve. He's going to make the move into roller coaster. Side by side they go. He beats him in the braking zone, gets him cleared. Burkhalter gets out of it, and we've got one car around here on the exit of roller coaster. Hopefully he makes a safe rejoin. He does, and it looks like, let's see, we've got a slow car. Was that marked no? Pretty challenging to find who that was after the fact. And, well, we'll just keep going with that third place battle then, because Poppenhaus now back into fourth place. Fifth place is Burkhalter, because Reeve has checked back out on these two just a little bit, about 4/10 between third and fourth.
Yeah, we can see Reeve prove our theory wrong. The slipstream can be powerful here. He got a great run coming down the hill, up the hill. The car ahead is going to be fighting the wind. And the car behind can get the slipstream ahead. We can see Poppenhaus is still not giving up that place, trying to pop the nose in, trying to make sure Reeve knows he's there, trying to pull him to a mistake. And this is going to keep getting at it, side by side. Oh, is he going to go for a dive? No. But this is going to keep happening, an exit wrong like this, and the driver behind you is right up to you. And, on the big straight, you're going to be fighting for position. You're going to be trying to defend. And those drivers need to be going defensive into roller coaster later on the race. Maybe just relaxing a bit since it's the first race of the season, first few laps. But towards the end of the race, we should be seeing some defensive moves.
Ash A. Bailey in the chat over on Operation Motorsport's YouTube channel saying, Morad is just listening to I'm a Barbie Girl, and you're probably not wrong. I think Morad is just... he's just got it on repeat like that one speaker car and chant car, and he's just listening to it over and over and over just to motivate him. He's now cleared Morad. Well, actually, Walsh has closed the gap back up as, wow, Poppenhaus, a big move into Oak Tree. He gets that spot back. Definitely let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for out in the YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch chat. Let us know you're watching. We love to interact with you guys watching here at Pit Stop TV. So let us know, again, where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, everything else. And actually, we've got a pass to the lead. Walsh gets on by Morad.
Yeah, that was incredible. We were watching the battle for third, and I saw Poppenhaus going up to third, but missing the apex on Oak Tree. So he could be going under pressure from Burkhalter. But it looks like the battle for the lead just got intense. We saw Walsh losing a bit of time to Morad, but now maybe a mistake cost him the lead. But it looks like he's going to be right back, trying to get right back at it in turn one.
And Morad's got some right front damage. I have to wonder if maybe a lapped car got in the way of those two, because that left front, I'll see if I can get a shot from the rear end of Walsh's machine. And you can kind of see there, the right front just doesn't look quite right on Morad's car. Let's see if we can get a better look at it from one of Morad's onboards. It is definitely dented up. I have to wonder what might have happened with those two. It's tough to say, but Walsh, now your race leader over Daniel Morad, and it's going to be tough to pass. I think that was proven by Morad holding that lead for so long over Walsh. The battle for third rages on. It's Hunter Reeve over Poppenhaus and Burkhalter. Jacob Williams in sixth place. We do have one car, it looks like, that has taken to the pit lane. That's Theo... I don't want to butcher that. Brulsima, I'm going to hope is somewhat close for the number 24 machine. He is stuck at the pit lane, and, well, that race is certainly not going to go well for him.
Yeah, it's another nature of the track, another driver unfortunately making mistakes. But coming back to Morad, that right front damage can only be done by a back marker, because he didn't lose a lot of time, so he didn't go off the track, and Walsh was behind him all the time. So unfortunately, maybe due to a lap car, he's gonna lose a bit of pace due to the damage, but he'll most importantly lost P1. But look at him, he's right back behind Walsh, and he's gonna be trying to make a move into roller coaster.
Morad sits back for now. I think he's opening the gap back up, dragging the brake a little bit, and I think we just broke Ash's heart as well as Leah. They were pulling for one Theo in the number 24, and unfortunately Theo looks to be maybe done for the day. Very sorry to bring the news to you guys like that. Unfortunately, it looks like Theo has bent it somewhere, maybe got into a bit of trouble. He might have been some of that contact with Daniel Morad. It's very hard to say. We do also have Geriatric Ginger watching from Virginia. We're glad to have you. And yeah, it was a back marker on Morad. I wonder who it was. We'll have to see if we can find the matching damage. Regardless, the battle continuing on, and now maybe a leg up to Chris Walsh because he doesn't have that damage, and Morad does. So JP, it's going to be hard for Morad to pull out into clean air and actually complete the pass because that is going to create some extra drag and hold him back just a bit.
Yeah, definitely. You know, making a move is going to be definitely more difficult now, but he's looking like he's getting a better exit out of Oak Tree and out of turn 17 onto the main start finish straight. But the problem will be if he gets past, you know, that damage is going to be costing him on straight line speed. So Morad, if he falls back into second, it might not be the end of the world. So if Walsh falls back into second, it might not be the end of the world due to that damage. But we're gonna see, you know, strategies might evolve, you know, if Morad just decides to sit back until the end of the race and try to time it out, or he's gonna be risking it and trying to assess the damage on clear air. Well, it remains to be seen.
That it does. And while those guys battle, we do have Hunter Reeve that is checked out from 4th and 5th because Burkhalter has been all kinds of preoccupied with Poppenhaus here. So Adam Poppenhaus putting the pressure on Dustin Burkhalter, but they've actually even separated just a bit. It looks like a couple of mistakes out of Poppenhaus has created that gap up to 4th place. So 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They were almost 3 wide not so long ago. Now they're spread out by about a second apiece, and that battle suddenly fizzles out. 6th place currently goes to Jacob Williams. He's in a bubble of his own. Richard Hazlitt takes over P7.
Yeah, unfortunately that P3 battle looks like it washed away, but, you know, a second 1.2, it might be on the slipstream range. You know, you gotta hope, I guess the car behind you gotta hope that you make a mistake onto the turn 17 or the Oak Tree corner, you know. Oh, as we have a mistake here from the number 47.
It's Timothy Bernard in the 47 that goes around here. Let's see, where is this on the racetrack? It's really tough to say because it all kind of looks... Oh, I think this is out of Horseshoe. That is, down towards... So that's turns 1 and 2, and we'll see what happens to him. Looks like he just gets sideways and loses it there in the grass, so I think just the car got away from him a tad bit. And I'm trying to look for battles throughout the field. I don't see too many. One that is somewhat close is, let's see, Glenn Gray and Mark Bray. That's interesting similarities between the names, but Glenn Gray has the lead in the number 5 of this battle anyways. He is 13th over Mark Bray in the 946 and 14th. And you can see the gap there will actually go to Bray is on board, and you can see the gap between these two.
Yeah, well, I was watching the gap between Walsh and Morad, and for a minute there it was less than a tenth. Morad, I guess, tried to back off a bit, you know, maybe doesn't have the straight line speed coming up. But, you know, oh, look at him. They're catching up already to back markers, so this could play into Morad's hands, you know, depending where the back marker gets away. Looks like he's going to be holding up Walsh a bit, and this could be giving him a chance.
Oh, man, that was rough, and I think that was Mark Bray that we were just watching. It was. Mark Bray, I think, was trying to do the right thing and get out of the way, but really, you've got to power through the S's, and you've got to get to the straightaway before you start checking up like that. Unfortunately, it holds these leaders up, but fortunately, it doesn't really affect the battle too much. Just checks him up, keeps him honest, and Morad lets Walsh keep that lead. I think he could have gone by, but doesn't want to take it that way.
Yeah, maybe, or, oh, massive drift there out of the upper S's. But yeah, maybe it was just a bit of mistiming from Morad, you know, maybe he was trying to time it with the back marker, but we're gonna see here how the damage looks up on straight line speed. He got a great exit by the looks of it, you know, he's keeping up. So we're gonna see if he can catch up on straight line speed, and looks like he can, you know, just a tiny bit, every bit. So, you know, a mistake, you know, trying to lap back markers. Unfortunately, that was in a bad spot, a really bad spot, as that is a one-line corner. But yeah, we can see here maybe Warren looking up for a move on roller coaster. Is he gonna try to dive down the inside? No, he's backing off. So you can see they're biding his time. Still 15 laps to go. Still a long race. You know, you could try to make a mistake. You could try just to wait it out until the final few laps and try to make a move there and wash off into the distance. But this is going to be a really interesting battle to see how Morad is going to be assessing that damage and trying to pass Walsh.
So Morad regrouping now and trying to figure out how he wants to get by Chris Walsh. He's got to run out of hog pen. Will he do it this lap into turn 1? We're looking at about 30 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the race, side by side. Down the front stretch they go. The 17 trying to make the pass on the 28, even into the braking zone for turn 1. Walsh beats him into the braking zone, but maybe washes up, opens the door a tiny bit. Morad can't quite get there, and they stay nose to tail.
Yeah, you can see here. You can see by the cockpit. You know, Morad was really fighting the wheel on the exit. Luckily for, Morad was really fighting the wheel. Sorry for the name mishaps. But Walsh is really lucky because that corner you can get on the power quietly and you can get full power because the corner winds up on exit. So you can really hug that inside line. As long as you don't go too wide, it should be safe to maintain the position. But as they approach another lapped car, are we going to be seeing them letting off after the lower S's?
And it looks like, yeah, Gary Gray going to let them go on by. Good on Gary to let them keep racing, because the last time we saw them try to get by, it didn't end quite well. Well, actually, I guess it ended well. It just didn't go quite very cleanly. Walsh keeps the lead up through South Bend now, as the last time around, they were both sliding through there. That time they keep it quite clean, and they race down to Oak Tree. And the race kind of all unfolding in front of us here, JP. The battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th splits up a little bit. It looks like Burkhalter is caught back up to Reeve just a bit. We can actually check back in on this battle, as Reeve in the 46 has checked out on the rest of these guys, but Burkhalter's keeping him honest, because if Reeve makes a mistake here, it's going to be trouble. Oh, and he was sideways, hanging all out there up over South Bend, and man, it's good to see these Miatas get sideways like that.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it shows really the driver car control that they have. You know, every curb here can be a challenge. You know, it can unsettle the car, especially on corner entry and corner exits. So seeing these drivers wrestling the car is really amazing for the eyes.
And as I mentioned, about halfway through this one, we thank you for tuning in. In fact, I believe we had one. I'm going to get your name again. And let's see, it was Barbara Gonzalez. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Puerto Rico. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and Operation Motorsport. Wow, that was a big, big bobble out of Hunter Reeve up over roller coaster. And that almost opened up the door for 3rd place for Dustin Burkhalter. But they continue to battle for 1st and 2nd. Morad all over Walsh into turn 1 once more. It is the best battle on the racetrack. Just about the only nose-to-tail battle. And Morad continues to put the pressure on.
Yeah, it looks like the pressure's not going to go off anytime soon. You know, looks like Morad, even with damage, has the pace advantage over Walsh. It's going to be really interesting to see when and how he sets the move up. You know, you can see the straight line speed wasn't really affected by the damage, which is really good to see. But, you know, he's biding his time. He's just waiting in. He will eventually pounce. He will eventually go for the move and make a pass. And hopefully we can see the battle, you know, keep going. Hopefully we can see Walsh, if he does get past, you know, trying to get past again as Morad gets a great run out of the lower S's, and he's gonna try. No, he's not gonna try and make a move up to the upper S's. You know, it's a one-line corner, so really respectful from him. And yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be going at it up until roller coaster. Let's see if Walsh can get Morad can get a great run out of Oak Tree.
Yeah, no, Daniel Morad knows to wait for the right opportunity to pass sideways over South Bend, and boom. And again, it's so good to see these cars sling it all out like that. These drivers really going at it. Ooh, even Walsh sideways into the braking zone for Oak Tree, and that brings that gap right back down to where it was before Morad got sideways. Now down the backstretch they go, and Morad's going to have to use that draft, that slipstream, to try and make a move if he wants to go by in Hogpen. But again, he really has not forced the issue much. He's gone for the opportunity when it's presented, but otherwise he's not forcing any opportunities. And I like that out of Morad. He's got to wait for that opportunity, and well, he is actually going to force this one into roller coaster. He goes up the left side and making me look like a liar a bit. He almost gets that lead. Is he going to get him? He is. Down the hill, Daniel Morad powers around the outside of roller coaster to get the lead back from Chris Walsh.
Yeah, incredible move, incredible exit out of Oak Tree.
Oh, and he goes off!
He ran wide!
Goes completely off the racetrack. He gets the lead and immediately makes a big mistake. Does he save it? He does! Oh, we do have a pit stop out of Chris Walsh. These guys are going to have to pit. Our mistake there. Chris Walsh immediately down the pit lane. Seems like that was his best opportunity, though they aren't going to be able to draft and keep their lap times up. So we're going to have to wait for that pit stop now from Daniel Morad.
Yeah, incredible, incredible save.
Wait, no.
Managing
Okay,
to
yes. Sorry, I'm sorry. I saw him go by the first pit lane. I forgot there was that second pod of pit stalls. I'm sorry to cut you off, JP. I thought for a moment he was just going to roll through the pit lane and get no service.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. It was the best time, Morad had just made a mistake. He was gonna be slow off of turn 1, so this could prove, this could extend his lead. We're gonna see if Morad's gonna be pitting this lap or he's just gonna extend. Maybe he was fuel saving while he was behind P1 Chris Walsh. So we're just gonna have to wait and see for the first few laps. Chris is really gonna have to be pushing now. He's gonna really be having to put those quality lap times to make sure he goes out ahead. Because from what it looks like, Morad has the pace advantage. So this is gonna be really interesting for this next few laps.
Poppenhaus and Hazlitt also get service here. We're about 5 minutes past halfway now. About 25 minutes, 15 seconds left in the race. By ATVO's count, that is about 12 laps. We see Jacob Williams also in the pit lane. He pits from 6th. Hazlitt pits, I think Hazlitt might have actually been up there battling with Williams to get that spot over him. Winker also down the pit lane. He's coming in for service, and all attention now shifts back to leader Daniel Morad and when he's going to come down the pit lane.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how much time he lost, because he's definitely gonna be popping out in second. But if he was saving fuel, how much did he save is gonna be a major factor. If he's gonna come out close to Chris Walsh, we're gonna have to wait and see as he comes up to roller coaster to finish up the lap. Let's see if he's gonna be hopping into the pits at the end of the lap.
Again, these guys coming in with the best Morad puns I've ever seen. Morad mowing the grass out there out of Hogpen last time around. I'd imagine he's going to come down to the safety of pit lane this time by and get some service. I'd imagine 4 tires and fuel as well. Seems like that's what everybody's going for. But if you want to be that guy and try and stretch these tires, you can. Morad coming down the pit lane. That's going to be close on pit entry speed. I think he gets it down to pit lane speed, but man, that was close at those yellow cones. Morad now down the pit lane. We'll see where he cycles out. Hunter Reeve, I'd imagine, will join him here shortly in about 21 seconds.
Yeah, that was very close. We could see the brake lights coming up after the yellow cones, so this is going to be really interesting as effective P3 and P4 pit as well. So it looks like all drivers may be going for 4 tires. We could see a gamble for no tires if he's feeling confident with it. Obviously, he's going to have a grip disadvantage in relation to Walsh, but we're going to have to wait and see. Looks like for now it's only fuel. The car has not gone up yet for the tires, and it's just a waiting game now for us.
Playing with the throttle, he's waiting for the... Yep, there he goes. He was waiting for the signal. Chris Walsh goes by, though, and takes the race lead back from Daniel Morad, and it's going to be a difference of several seconds, it looks like. There's Morad, and there's Walsh already exiting the horseshoe. That's a big gap compared to what it was, so you're right. That was the perfect time for Chris Walsh to come in, get service, and get back out on the racetrack and hold that race lead, because he's got quite a bit of a lead now over Morad. It's looking like 7.5 seconds that Morad will have to make up in just over 20 minutes.
Yeah, this is time for both drivers actually to put the foot down. Walsh cannot make a mistake. He cannot afford a mistake right now. He got the advantage. Morad made a mistake. He went into the grass. He lost time. So that was the break that he needed. Now he doesn't have any pressure. Morad looks like lost a little bit of time and maybe got an instant point there by lapping. But we're going to have to wait and see. Now it's going to be both quality times, full attack mode for both drivers. And you're going to have to wait and see. Looks like Morad actually serviced his car. You can see there's no more visible damage on the right front fender. So, he may be back to his full pace. And this is going to be a time attack. 11 laps, full on attack. Maybe a second per lap he has to pull out. It's going to be close. It could be possible. We're not sure how the times are in clean air. And we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, it looks like Morad took one of those fast repairs that does immediately repair all damage to the race car in one fell swoop. It's a nice thing on iRacing. Gives you that quick little reset, as many people call it. Hunter Reeve cycles back into 3rd place. He's got that spot as they go by. It looks like possibly Hazlitt. He's got that spot over Dustin Burkhalter, and... well, Adam Poppenhaus actually cycles back into... No, he's not in that battle. That was a different 3rd car. That's right. That is that... let's see. Resilience Machine, I believe. Is that Hazlitt? That is... the number 19, Brian Winter. We've not seen him at all this race, but he's right behind 3rd and 4th place, just not for position. He's 2 laps down in 18th. And you know what? Let's go ahead and walk up the field in reverse. Kieran Gallagher is 19th, 4 laps down in the number 7. And Kieran, I think, just trying to finish out the laps and see what he's got, maybe see if he can pass some more cars on the racetrack by virtue of them parking for the evening. We mentioned Brian Winter. Jay Gleason is in 17th. He's in the number 3 car and just turning some laps again, trying to get to the end of this race. He is 1 lap down, and it looks like 14 seconds behind Theo, who is back on the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, he made it back out there in the number 24. He is 16th. Timothy Bernard in 15th. Mark Bray is up there in 14th, the 946, and he's actually in the pit lane right now. This is his first pit stop, so I believe scheduled just a bit later than everybody else. We do have 1 car coming into the pit lane behind him. Let's see who that is real quick. And that is Joe Keens. It is also his first pit stop of the evening, it looks like. No, maybe second. So we'll see what Keens does under this opportunity to come in and get service. Timothy Bernard in 14th place. He's in the number 47 this evening, 1 lap down right now. Glenn Gray, right as he goes around, and he's going to nose into the Armco barrier there. He's going to get some damage, but still is going to stick with it. He wants to get back out and race for it. Will he try? Yeah, it looks like he stalled the car for a moment. He's trying to Austin Powers this car and get it back onto the racetrack here, JP, but he will continue in no time at all. Brian Burkhart is in 12th. He is in danger of going 1 lap down. He's right in front of race leader Chris Walsh. He's right about to go 1 lap behind.
Yeah, he's already been waved the blue flag. He's probably going to be letting down before roller coaster. Looks like they're on the back straight.
Whoa, that was close.
Whoa, that was a bit dangerous, but if they communicated that that was close for us, but it could have been safe for them. As I'm looking at the gap, it doesn't look like it's coming down. If it was 7.5 seconds, already down to 6.3. But looking at the chat, Morad took an extra 5 laps of fuel, so that could be costly. 5 laps of fuel, this is a 2-minute lap, so that could be an extra. I mean, that's a lot of fuel extra they got to take. And unfortunately, saw Poppenhaus, I'm not pretty sure if he made a mistake, but he really dropped out of the battle for third. He was right within the guys, but now he looks like he's 15, 16 seconds behind. But, battle for third is still well and alive, 4/10 of a second between the 2 guys, and looks like that's going to the end. No, Morad, now it's closed up a bit. Looks like he's getting close through that roller coaster section. Now the gap is down to 5.6.
5.6 seconds for Morad to continue making up, and great intel there on the extra fuel for Morad. Is he going to go around? He is! That might be Morad's race done. He's going to nose into the barrier as well. Daniel Morad with the longer pit stop after his mistaken hog pen backs him up 7 seconds once he exits. Now around out of NASCAR Bend and noses that car into the Armco barrier. Looks like he never even took that fast repair. And he's going to come out back onto the racetrack right in front of Hunter Reeve, almost in the same frame. And suddenly we have a battle for second place.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're pushing the limits on this track. A simple mistake, just a dip on the grass, and unfortunately he was round. Looks like he came up back ahead. Let's see if that's not going to dent his confidence on the car. Obviously a mistake, it's going to slow you down a bit until you can get the grips with that corner that you just made a mistake. But yeah, it's unfortunate he just took the fast repair. He was taking time out of Chris, but unfortunately, that's what happens. That's race, pushing the limits of the car, pushing the limits of the track, and sometimes you just go over the edge.
And for clarification, I see HD Thumper asking about the fast repair. It's something that everybody has. It's basically up to race admin discretion when they set up the race in hosted, or for the iRacing official races, up to iRacing and how many fast repairs to give these drivers. Usually, the most common number is either 0 or 1. So you either get none, you're just left with the same car all race, or you get that one mulligan, that one reset, because after all, this is technically a video game. It is a simulation, so you get that reset in your pocket. You can get back out there. It's kind of like just changing bumpers out. I guess realistically, Realistically, that's most useful in IndyCar racing, sports car racing, what have you. But it just gives you that one little reset to get back into things. And if you've been in the car somewhere, you can get back out there with a clean car, and you have at least one chance to go back at it. So that's what Morad exhausted under his pit stop, and now the car looks exactly the same. It's almost like he never even should have taken it, but who knows, the toe could have been knocked out as well. He holds now a 2-second gap back to Hunter Reeve for second place. Hunter Reeve in third, Burkhalter in fourth, and laying the pressure on. Poppenhaus has fallen back by 18 seconds. Not sure what happened to Adam Poppenhaus, but that gap suddenly obliterated, and he's got Jacob Williams, the closest car to worry about. Jacob Williams actually has Richard Hazlitt behind him.
Yeah, now we have a battle emerging for 6th place. We haven't seen these guys all race, but it's good to see, people getting battles up and down, actually, the points paying positions. But, it's fun. We obviously have the battle for 3rd, but this could be, well, we have a car accident in the pits. This could be a bit dangerous. And, he almost lost it on the straightaway. I'm not pretty sure if that was a bump, but unfortunately miscommunication with the car cost him a few tenths. But this could be going to the end. We're not sure how these drivers are pairing up in pace in relation to lap times, but we could have a well-on battle for 6. 8 laps to go. Unfortunately, Chris Walsh is gonna walk away. Obviously, it's 8 laps to go around VIR. We saw Morad making a mistake, so it's not out of the question, and looks like he's not pulling away from Reeve.
No, he's lost a lot of time here, and suddenly, again, this battle for second might be shaping up. Morad's driving really hard, and again, that toe might be knocked out a little bit, so he could have some steering damage that could be holding it back through Oak Street. He's, again, losing some time here to Hunter Reeve, and that could give us an exciting battle to the end. We have around 7.5, coming to 7 laps to go. That is about 14.5 minutes, so we'll see how many of those laps we get in. Again, 14.5 minutes left in the race, and ATVO is calculating how many laps that'll be. That's the number you see at the top of the ticker. So that's a guesstimation kind of from the computer on about how many laps we will go. Anyways, this battle shaping up 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The first time we said that all evening, as Morad has company from Hunter Reeve.
Yeah, you can see him. He's a bit struggling in the car. You can see there on the roller coaster, he lost a bit of the apex, lost side of the apex, and he went into the grass again. So you can see he may be struggling with the car. That's why he's not pulling the gap, and Reeve is closing in. Reeve is really comfortable with the car, and he's closing in. He's pulling a bit of the gap to Burke Walker, and he could be shaping up a move into turn 1.
They race across the start-finish line and down into turn 1. Morad taking the defensive line for the horseshoe, and that's going to force Reeve around the outside. Can he cross him up? Yes, maybe, no. He backs out. Might still get him here. Apex exiting the corner, and he does, side by side out of turn 2 down a NASCAR bend.
Yeah, that was an incredible move, set him up perfectly. Unfortunately, he's not going to have the line through NASCAR bend, it swoops in a double apex corner, but we can see how hard Morad is pushing the car. He's going to the grass, he's pushing that car to trying to hold for 2nd position, which is not something we thought we were going to be saying, at the end of the, throughout the race. We saw him battling for 1st, we saw him, pushing 1st place around and pulling a gap into 3rd, but now he's fighting to hold that 2nd place.
Yeah, suddenly Morad put back on his back foot as Hunter Reeve lays the pressure on. These guys 30 seconds behind Chris Walsh, who is just putting a beating on this field since Morad has left him under that pit cycle. And Morad, man, he's continuing to slide. He's got to have a lot of rear bias in that car to kick it sideways on the brakes like that. He's feeling it out, swerving up into the braking zone for Oak Tree, and he's losing some time. They near a little bit, but now he's going to power down and gap Hunter Reeve once more. Burkhalter right behind him.
Yeah, you can see him through the Oak 3 section. He was not hitting the apex of the first apex of the right-hander to try and get a better line. He has the damage. He probably has a straight line deficit, so he's trying to get everything he can to make sure he gets the little bit mile-an-hour advantage over Reeve. But obviously, with the slipstream and the added, the brand new car, he's definitely going to have an advantage. But we can see him again missing the apex and again be putting under pressure, which is definitely going to be costing him into turn 1.
And if you're just joining us this evening, or maybe even coming back after a little while and noticing that Morad is no longer battling for the race lead, it's because he just made a few mistakes. So Daniel Morad actually kind of wrote himself out of the race win battle. And I mean, he was right there going toe-to-toe with Chris Walsh, and actually looked like he was the better of the two for several laps, JP. And suddenly now he's defending for second place and having to do so pretty hard. And he's got a lot of company, and that is an aggressive 46 up behind him. The huge-ass machine of Hunter Reeve is really giving him a run for his money, and I would not be surprised if Hunter gets on by him before the end of this race. Again, the approximation is about 6 laps to go, about 11 minutes that these guys have to work with.
Yeah, we saw him attacking, we saw him defending from Walsh, but now he's having to defend from Reeve. He's a guy he's not been used to all race. He's just trying to learn his moves, where he might go for a move, but we can see him struggling in a few corners. We can see him battling the car, as we can see there, just pushing to the limits to try and keep up that second position. And if he drops behind Reeve, we're not sure if he has the pace to keep up. So Burkhalter, could be in for a podium position if Reeve can get past.
Burkhalter, well, falling back, you mentioned he could be in for that position, but I think he's got to turn the wick up and drive back up to these guys. Otherwise, even if they make a bit of a mistake, he might not be able to get by both of them before they get back on the racetrack, because if it's just a simple off, he's still a little ways back, and they might still have a leg up on him. If one of them spins all the way around, that's a totally different story. They race down the backstretch now. They've got a lap car ahead. I think that is the number 5. No, that's actually the sister car of, I've got to find it again. I had it just a little while ago, Brian Burkhart. So Burkhart and Glenn Gray in very similar green machines. And green, not usually a very lucky color in racing, but they're making it work for each other. Granted, Burkhart is 11th and Gray is 17th. Morad all over the brakes, heavy into the roller coaster, and he's got to be watching those mirrors. He's made mistake after mistake as of late. He was so good in the early going, and since that mistake in Hogpen right at halfway, man, it's just been a completely different Morad.
Yeah, mistakes brings mistakes. We saw that he made a simple mistake out of turn 17 out of a hog pit, and that caused him to lose time and have to made him push even more and made another mistake. Now he's going to be trying to hold up Reeve. He got a better exit out of roller coaster. Looks like he got a bit of a buffer now, but Reeve is just piling on the pressure. He has to make a move work. He's running out of time. He has to get the car closing, and that's what we talked about at the start of the race. At the beginning, everybody just first race, not wanting to go for positions, not going for extreme moves, but at the end of the race, you want to get that extra point. You want to get the second position. So Reeve is a guy to look for. If a simple mistake, he could be pointing at the nose where places we didn't think an overtake could happen.
A mistake again out of Daniel Morad, and he was a bit squirrely off of those curbs in the left hook. And now Hunter Reeve right back on his gearbox, and through the lower S's, he's going to be laying the pressure back on. He's just been doing the same thing lap after lap, filling those mirrors and trying to force a mistake out of Daniel Morad. He's done it a couple of times, just hasn't been able to capitalize just yet. Again, if you're new to the series, if you're new to Pit Stop TV, we thank you for tuning in for Operation eMotorsport's first race of their iRacing League season. Race number 1 of 8, kicking things off at VIR. It's been a thriller. We thank you for tuning in. Man, it's been fun as Morad trying to get by Burkhart. That was a bit sketchy into Oak Tree, and now Reeve gets on by as well. So Burkhart gets up out of the way, does the right thing. Exactly 30 seconds behind Chris Walsh for the race lead, and Walsh is just out to a Sunday lunch. He is, he's currently through Hogpen, coming around to the front stretch and about to take about 4 laps to go. 7.5 minutes as Morad continues to have heat from Hunter Reeve.
Yeah, Walsh pretty much put the, he may have turned the engine down. He's turning himself down. There's no need to go for fastest laps right now. There's no need, to run fast and maybe make a mistake and throw the lead out. So he just has to cruise around to the end. He's 30 seconds ahead. He has the pace advantage over second and third right now. Due to the damage. So,
Hunter Reeve off and
the same mistake. Just maybe got onto the power, maybe got a little bit of out of a tail slap, and now Reeve loses the podium. Actually, he just lost the podium, just lost third place, and that was the same mistake we saw Morad doing.
That's absolutely right. The exact same place as Morad going off the racetrack back around halfway. It gives Morad now, I think, a solid second place because we're entering the final minutes now, under 7 minutes to go, and it's going to be a tall order for Burkhalter to reel him in by 2.5 seconds. Burkhalter currently, I mean, he's got a shot. It's certainly not outside of the realm of possibility, but it's a bit of a gap, and it's starting to widen just a little bit. We do have another battle on the racetrack. It's Jacob Williams and Richard Hazlitt, 6th and 7th, going at it.
Yeah, looks like while we are occupied by the battle in a second, those guys are still going at it for 6th place. Incredible to see, looks like they're having to keep it clean. And looks like, I'm not pretty sure if he got by and is trying to get the position back. But, this is still a battle. Both cars looking brand new and, less than a second between them.
Now, these battles continuing on throughout the race field. It's actually been a really wide open race, really spread out, but these battles just happen to pop up here and there. The whole top 5, I think, is sorted out. It's just this battle for 6th and 7th right now on the racetrack. While these guys finish up their battles on the racetrack, I do want to talk about some of our partners here at Pit Stop TV. First up, Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. You provide the image you want, and we will custom create a beautiful framed high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. With Sound Art, you get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional info. And, I mean, just imagine a picture of a race car winning at VIR on a beautiful canvas with a Bluetooth speaker just hanging on your wall, and a mistake out of Williams. Hazlitt almost capitalizes on that. He has to sit back for now through Oak Tree. We also want to talk about permanent makeup and cryo in Maine. And when it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Here at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Boyer, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. If you're looking for the best solutions for your PMU concerns, give them a call today to book a consultation. The website for them, permanentmakeupinmaine.com, or you can call or text them at 207-358-8683. They continue to battle for 6th and 7th. And, man, it's been a thriller. It has been a thriller in so many different ways. And, again, we're so glad, so thankful to be here, so thankful that Operation Motorsport queued us up for the job, because it has been amazing racing. In addition to what Operation Motorsport stands for, this has been amazing racing here on the iRacing.com service for us to call. It's been a fun one, and we've still got a few laps to go. Just north of 4 minutes left. Chris Walsh continuing to lead the way. He's got now 29.3 seconds to Morad. Daniel Morad actually starting to gain. Now it's 21.7, but I think it's just a little too late. And the battle continues on now for 6th and 7th.
Yeah, we saw throughout the race, a few packs, setting themselves. We saw P1 and 2 just driving off in the distance. And then we saw Burkhalter, Reeve, and Poppenhaus, battling for 3rd. Unfortunately, Poppenhaus eventually, I don't know if he made a mistake or he just, lost a bit on the pit stops. And then you saw these two guys also battling. So even though the race is very spread out, we still have these groups, battling each other and keeping it real clean. We haven't seen any car crashes throughout the race, other than the unfortunate the lag on the first few laps. So it's been a really clean race. It's really nice to see this, long battles with no contact whatsoever. So this has been a great race.
Morad continuing to actually reel in Chris Walsh, but I think Walsh is just cruising at this point, of course. He's got 27 seconds. Use it up. He's got plenty of time to work with. Hazlitt continuing to try and put a move here on Jacob Williams. It's going to be tough, man. He might be able to do it right here into roller coaster. We'll see if he can get the draft and make a move. Williams not really taking a line. Now he moves over to block that move from Hazlitt and into roller coaster. I think they might go side by side. It looks like they will. So Williams now has to worry about Hazlitt to his left side into the braking zone for the roller coaster. Will Hazlitt take it? He's got the nose ahead, and he clears him easily up over the hill. Williams falls back into 7th.
Yeah, that was a great move. I'm not pretty sure if that was a late move. Oh, that's a massive drift we see. But it was a great move. We saw him going up to, thought he was gonna have to lift, but he didn't. And you can see him really attacking, really trying to pull that gap in. And we can see where the mistake was made. You know, as you get onto the curb, you're really gonna push the car wide, and just a few, if you just go a bit too wide, you're onto the grass. But now Williams is not gonna let that go so easily as he's lining up for turn 1.
Oh, that was a sketchy move to the left side. Williams trying to cue himself up for a big move to the outside through turns 1 and 2. Can he get it done? No, he falls back in behind Richard Hazlitt. And Hazlitt now, oh, that was almost bumper to bumper. Williams almost got right up there, and then I think they both had to shift. Now through NASCAR Bend, nose to tail, this for 6th and 7th. 1 minute 6.5 behind the race leader. Chris Walsh is actually coming around to take the white flag here shortly. A minute and a half left. We'll see if the race extends or not. It'll be close. Chris Walsh continues to lead. Richard Hazlitt in 6th place. This is the best battle on the racetrack. Everything else quite separated. Williams was in 6th, and he just made a bit of a mistake, I think, out of Oak Tree and let Hazlitt get a bit too close and draft on by into Roller Coaster.
Yeah, we can see there just, you know, a few mistakes, just going a bit too slow or maybe a bit too fast, and can cost you. And you can see him, Williams is really confident. You know, with 2 laps to go, he has to go for a move if he wants to make sure he gets that 6th place. But you can see there, Hazlitt just has the better line. You know, he managed to pull out actually a big gap. So Williams, maybe it was that where Hazlitt pull the gap in, but we're gonna make sure. Oh, that was a big tank slapper. So this could be setting up another move into Roller Coaster, but it looks like the gap is maybe a bit too big. And you know, they have 1 more lap to go, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, so ATVO saying final lap at the top left of your screen, and we'll see if they extend it. I say that because we haven't gotten the white flag lights at the top left of that ticker. So this we're going to assume is the final lap, though it could go 1 more. Chris Walsh, your race leader, he's out there by almost 26 seconds. He has just put a beating on the field since Daniel Morad has had his mistakes. And Daniel Morad, it looks like, through 3 and 4. Yep, heading down to turn 4 now. I mean, it's been a great race for Daniel Morad. Very exciting. But he made a couple of key mistakes that took him out of the battle for this race win. I think easily the better of the 2 drivers in 1st and 2nd, but you have to put a better race together, and in that case, Chris Walsh did it. Now we see that final lap, the white flag, the white lights on, and I believe this should be the final lap of the race. Lap 27 of 27 expected laps, and Chris Walsh down the backstretch. He's got the number 19. We'll find who that is. That is the number 19 of Brian Winker just ahead, and Brian Winker currently running in, let's see. I had it queued up. P9, that's right. Actually, no, I think there's 2 Winkers in the field. Yes, so Brandon Winker in 18th, my bad. Regardless, Chris Walsh now through Roller Coaster for the final time this evening, and he's about to wrap up the first race of 8 and the first win of, who knows, possibly 8 in the Operation eMotorsport iRacing League. Just a couple of corners to go, known as Hogpen here at VIR, and he's got it wrapped up. It's a 25-second margin between 1st and 2nd, and Chris Walsh has won at Virginia International Raceway.
Yeah, incredible race. You know, after the mistake of Morad, you know, he went into the pits at the perfect time. He got the pit stop nailed. And after that, it's just a controlled race. You know, we saw the gap not going down too much. You know, after the pits, it stayed at 7-6 seconds. And it kind of forced Morad into another mistake, which eventually happened. And after that, is, you know, it's just cruise control. But, you know, it's a race. Morad unfortunately made a few mistakes, and that cost him the win. Well, what could have been potentially the win.
Paging through the rest of the field as they come to the start-finish line. Burkhalter is going to take the podium that I didn't think he was going to have an opportunity to get. I'll eat my words there. He crosses the line, and we'll be talking to him shortly. He finishes 3rd. Hunter Reeve, after that mistake, and Hogpen going to finish in 4th. Then it's Poppenhouse going to come across here shortly in 5th. We'll tune in for the back end of this battle with Hazlitt and Williams. They've separated themselves just a little bit. You see Hazlitt clearing away, but he could still make a mistake, a bit sideways over the curbing, but it's going to be Well, it's not going to be much at all because Jacob Williams goes off the racetrack in Hogpen and gives up that chance at that spot. So 6th and 7th work themselves out. We'll have one more car. It looks like that crosses a start-finish. No, 2 actually. Joe Keen's currently down the backstretch into roller coaster, and Jonathan Winker, it looks like, may have just stayed ahead of race leader. He's through the through Oak Tree now, and he's on the power hard. We'll see if he actually completes one more lap or not. Regardless, Keens will be the final car, we think, to finish this race up. And what a run for Chris Walsh.
Yeah, that was an incredible race. He really controlled the pace after the mistakes, and that's what you got to do. There's no reason to push. He didn't push, and he won fair and square. Incredible race, incredible pace right from the get-go. Let's not forget he got pole as he celebrates a few donuts. Well-deserved win throughout the race. Managed perfectly. He managed to put in attack when he lost P1, and he just controlled the race. There's no other words to say it. It was just a perfect race for him.
And what a perfect place to do some burnouts as well, do some donuts here in his Mazda MX-5. And looks like he's going to escape, and he will be ready for us, hopefully, to speak with here shortly. We're going to step away for just a moment, queue up those driver replays at the end of this whole thing. It's been an hour of close wheel-to-wheel racing for Operation eMotorsport in their first race of the season, and we'll be right back to you here at Pit Stop TV. Don't go anywhere. Amazing interviews with these drivers on the way.
VIR, the most fun and most rewarding single lap that we do all year.
Terrific natural terrain.
GT racing at its best.
It's home of the S's.
No free passes in either of these classes right now.
A lot of change of direction, very high grip surface.
You really have to be brave here on the opening lap.
Corner, 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 straight.
Elbows are up, Tommy.
A roller coaster.
America's motorsports resort.
Honestly, I'm going to have to go and see a cardiac specialist if they all end up like this year.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
And we welcome you back to Pit Stop TV and our continuing coverage here from Virginia International Raceway. I don't know where my ability to talk went in that little break here, JP, but we've got some drivers to speak with nonetheless. We've got Chris Walsh, our race leader, first up. And Chris Walsh, do you have a copy? Chris Walsh, it's Andrew up in the Pit Stop TV booth. You got us?
Hey, yeah, I do. Sorry, I take my wheel off and my push-to-talk button's on there, so I had to switch settings.
All good, all good. We're glad we have you here. Chris, that was an amazing drive. Wheel to wheel with Daniel Morad for so long there. How did that feel?
Oh, it was really fun. I mean, like, Daniel is obviously very quick, and it's just a car that, like, if you can't get away from each other, it's just this constant draft battle, especially on a track like that. So it was really, I knew if I got in front of him, I wasn't going to break it without getting, like, a pit strategy correct. So every time I got in front, I was like, he's just going to sit behind me, and I did the same to him. So it was really fun.
It was a lot of fun for us as well up here in the booth. I mean, you guys put on a show there the first half. Tell us about your decision to pit. As soon as he went off in hog pen, it seemed like it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, so I knew kind of what fuel I needed to take. I don't think Daniel knew quite exactly how much gas he needed to take, so that kind of played in my favor. But I decided, like, that was my pit strategy in general, was I was going to come in on that lap. I thought he was going to pit too, but he didn't. So I was hoping, like, hey, if I could take the right amount of fuel, I can come out and hopefully put down a decent lap and close the gap, at least come out right in front of him. But hey, I ended up with like a 6-second difference in the pit strategy, so that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, you ended up gapping him by, I think it was 7 seconds at first when he exited, and you had a big gap to work with, and then he actually goes around a little while later, and then suddenly you have this 30-second margin to work with, and you're on this Sunday drive. I mean, were you even going for any lap times, or just cruising at that point, using up your gap?
Yeah, I figured he either got caught in traffic or went off somewhere. I was just in his stream and saw his replay, so yeah, he ended up catching a curve, and those things are brutal in that car. So after that, once I saw the gap open up, I just kind of tried to stay in the 2:14 lap times and see if he ended up closing it up at all, and if I needed to turn it up. And it ended up staying about the same split for the rest of the race. So I just tried to maintain that pace and not crash. It was mine to lose at that point.
Now, Chris, at the top of the show, we talked to Diesel Lauder, founder and CEO of Operation Motorsport. Tell us about your connection to Operation Motorsport and what brings you here to the iRacing League.
Yeah, so I ended up actually also in Porsche Club of America's iRacing series, and I found out about Operation Motorsport through them. There's a connection between the two organizations, and I went out and checked out their website, and I just saw what they got going on and their mission. And I am a military guy, and so I'm an active duty guy, and it's near and dear to me what these guys are doing, and so I just was really excited to get involved in any way, and luckily they had some spots to race, so that was really how the connection happened.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you for what you do, keeping us safe here at home, allowing us to do this. And before we let you go, Chris, we'll let you just have the floor for any shout-outs, anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to say hi to at home.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, thanks to Operation Motorsport for putting this together, and RECARO for being, from what I understand, a great sponsor and helping these things, and all the donors that make stuff like this possible. It's huge, and what these guys do for veterans and people, guys with disabilities and gals, is huge. So just a shout out to them. Obviously, my wife for helping me with the kids' bedtime, because that lets me take the time in the evenings to do this. Yeah, and that's about it. Yeah.
Chris, thank you for your time. I'm sure we'll be talking to you throughout the season here. We've got 7 races now to go. We'll see if you can maybe go bat 1,000 here on the season. We'll be talking to you again, like I said, I'm sure throughout the season. Best of luck to you here in Operation eMotorsport.
All right, I appreciate it. You guys have a good evening.
And that's Chris Walsh wrapping up his win this evening. JP Costa, I'm going to shoot it over to you with Dustin Burkhalter finishing 3rd.
Dustin, can I get a copy?
Yep.
So tell us about your race. We saw in the beginning you were fighting for 3rd, and then after the pit stop you kind of fell back a bit, 10 seconds. Tell us what happened leading up, talk us through the battle and then what happened in the pit stops.
So at the beginning of the race, I fell back on the start and then settled into a groove, and I had, I believe, Reese and Adam, and I felt like I was faster than them. waited until they made a mistake, tried to make a move, almost got both of them, but it's a heavy draft track. So I figured I'd just back off, try to save some fuel, follow them, hope for a mistake from them, which I think happened. They both ended up making a mistake, and I ended up gaining the position. I was really hoping to make the pass for the position in the pits, but I wasn't sure if I'd have enough fuel to go around one more lap, so I followed him in, and I think I closed the gap and then just backed off a little bit so that I didn't make my own mistake.
So we didn't catch from stream, but what exactly happened that made you lose a bit of contact to that battle?
I just backed off. The first battle, we were at like 40 minutes remaining, going too wide through corners. It's a 60-minute race. Back off, follow him, let me save a little bit of fuel. Saves me that tiny bit of time in the pits, and then best case, I can pass him in the pits. Worst case, I just draft on them until they make a mistake, or I finally get to pretty much the last lap and try to force a move as best I can.
And obviously at the end of the race, you were fighting for second. You fell a bit back, around a second, and then obviously Reese made a mistake that put you up into P3. So what exactly happened? What was your reaction when you saw Reese making the mistake?
Mixed bag. I was happy he made a mistake because that was what I was waiting for, to pass him. But then there went all the actual fun racing, and after I got by him and I was watching the relative on the straightaways and had about a 5-second gap, and I just backed off, tried not to do the same thing he did and not let him catch me.
Now I would like you to tell us a bit about your connection to Operation Motorsport, how you got involved, and how do you see the future of the league and the operation itself?
I actually saw a post by Jason on the forums in the Advanced Miata group, and I started league racing about last year with a local Texas group, and I'd been looking for a Miata league. There was just nothing I could find that fit my timeline, and then this one popped up and saw Operation Motorsports, and I sent in a request to join, and then I actually looked at the website, and it sounds like a really good program, something I'm a big supporter of. There's only like 3 other programs like this that I know of between the UK and America, and figured worst case, I at least have a fun Miata league, and then it ended up being a lot bigger than I thought, but I'm happy to be here, happy it's happening. This is actually really fun. That was probably some of the most intense racing I've had. I couldn't relax for 60 minutes.
Yeah. And do you have any shout-outs to loved ones back at home, or even sponsors?
Well, obviously thank Operation Motorsports for putting this on, RECARO, Mobile One. I really was not expecting sponsors like that. Shout out for my other league, a bunch of Texas drivers. It's hashtag Apex this hashtag. And that's about it.
And to end it off, what are your expectations for next race? I'm pretty sure it's a Road America. It's again a drive fast around that racetrack. So, what's going to be the expectation? The same result, trying to fight for a podium, maybe for a win.
Hopefully, fighting for a podium. Chris has a lot of speed. I don't know if it's just because of VIR or if he's got a lot more seat time in the Miata. So it'd be fun to battle him, and the same kind of battles I had this race would be great. I really like Road America, and it's a fun track, and it just makes it a lot more fun when you're actually within 2 seconds of cars the whole race.
Yeah, we can't wait either. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fantastic race, just like it was today. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Dustin Burkhalter.
And so Dustin finishing up in 3rd place this evening. An amazing run for him. We'll move him down. We have a couple of guys waiting in the wings. We're gonna talk to Jade Gleason real quick, though. And Jay was just kind of hanging around the race. And Jay, do you have a copy?
Who's that? Who are you looking for?
Jay Gleason, you got us?
Yeah, that's me.
Well, Jay, we saw you were kind of just roaming around the race, kind of just having a quiet evening. You come home in 15th. Tell us about your experience here at VIR.
Pretty poor performance. Yeah, I had several bad laps there in the beginning and didn't seem to recover.
Well, I mean, the good news is you might have that bad start to the season, but we still have 7 weeks to go, and everybody's going to take their time and start to learn these cars a bit better and get a little more, I guess, comfortable with everything. Do you think maybe even next week at Road America, or even in a few weeks, I know we've got COTA coming up, some challenging tracks, where do you see yourself maybe having that breakout run and getting up there back where you should be?
I'm hoping to stay in the middle of the pack. Maybe I can catch a break on a couple of the tracks and get up there, but there's some guys pulling some amazing lap times there.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what Daniel Morad and Chris Walsh are doing up at the front of the field, and they were really going at it for a little while, but as we look forward here and get ready for Road America and some other races, we've been talking to some of these guys about what their connection is to Operation Motorsport and why they're here in the iRacing League. So go ahead and tell us about your connection here to Operation Motorsport and why you're here in the Operation eMotorsport iRacing League.
Well, Jason is my neighbor, and we a few months ago he got me involved in iRacing, and obviously I'm a veteran myself, and it's a great cause, and I'm just happy to be able to support the cause and help my neighbor at the same time.
Absolutely. I think that's a pretty solid reason. We thank you for your service as well. Jay, before we let you go, who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out here this evening for your run?
Jason. He's definitely the reason I'm in it, and I appreciate all the help and guidance he's given me. Although it didn't turn out well tonight, it probably would have turned out worse.
Well, we appreciate your time, Jay, and hopefully we're talking to you some more the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys.
And so that's Jake Gleason finishing 15th. 15th. I mentioned those other couple of guys that we have to talk to. We've got both Diesel Lauder and Jason Leach, a couple of the guys organizing all of this. Guys, welcome to the booth. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us back.
Yeah, so Jason, I'm going to start off with you, man. We saw you had a pretty rough time out there. Tell us about it. Looks like he might have stepped away or something. Well, then we'll transition back over to you, Diesel.
Here we go. Hey,
there we go. Now we got him. Jason.
Technical difficulties on my end, so much like my race tonight to some extent. So, yeah, Rick and I were coming into Oak Tree there early on in the race, and post-event, we kind of talked about it a little bit and come to find out. I think I was blinking pretty bad here tonight with my internet connection, and, Rick just didn't know I was there. Some of the feedback I got was I was a little bit in stealth mode, where at one point I was at one point of the track, then all of a sudden I'd show up on another point of the track without any warning. So, I got some things I got to take care of here on my end to kind of tweak my internet connection, but overall, I'm happy with where I ended up. It was a good first event. My first time racing with the iRacing with the Operation Motorsports guys here, because the last time we did this, or our little practice session, Andrew, I was sitting in your position. So I absolutely recognize all the effort and all the work and everything I've heard tonight. Is you guys put out a very professional broadcast, so I appreciate that.
Well, heck yeah, it's always fun to be here for any racing on the service, but especially the racing you guys put on this evening. It was a lot of fun to watch, and obviously Daniel Morad and Chris Walsh going at it for a little while there, but even the stuff mid-pack, and you got in there a little while, and we did see you going stealth mode, keeping those guys on their toes off into Oak Tree a little bit, and then the contact that followed. But I think it was still definitely a good night. You started 9th. Sure, you finished 12th, so a few spots back, but still, I think it was a pretty good night overall when you look at it that way. Going forward into the rest of the season, making the move to the driver's seat, how do you picture yourself going?
Well, kind of like Jay was saying there before me, my expectations, I know I can put down a fast lap here and there. My challenge, like most amateur drivers, is consistency. So I think if I can, get a little bit of time, Road America coming up, and that's a tricky track, Road Atlanta as well. If I look at the schedule right now, I had an advantage today to some extent because I've actually driven VIR a few times during high-performance driving events. So I already kind of knew the track. I kind of knew what to expect. Everything else that we have coming up in the schedule, all the way through to Laguna Seca, is all virtually new for me, and tracks I have not been to yet in real world.
Yeah, a lot of really cool tracks coming up on the schedule. If you had to pick just one out of the rest of the season, where do you think you'll do your best?
Wow. I think I'm gonna fare okay at Indianapolis. I've done a little bit of practice there, and it hasn't been too bad. We got Circuit of the Americas coming up though, and I tried to do a few laps there the other day, a little bit of testing, and that is a very tricky track to get correct, and it's so long, and some really tight turns in there. That's gonna be a track I think is gonna be difficult for everybody because it's one of those tracks like Indy that it doesn't generally fall into the road racing circuits, at least that we're kind of accustomed to. SRO was there in February, but beyond that, I mean, it's typically an F1 track.
Well, Jason, we appreciate your time here. We're going to transition. We're going to keep you around. We're going to transition over to Daniel Moorhead just so Daniel's not waiting too much longer. Daniel, we appreciate you showing up a little bit after the fact, but nonetheless, you're here after a really solid run. And, man, you and Chris went after it lap after lap after lap. It gave us a lot of really exciting racing there in the first half. What happened there in Hogpen about halfway?
Well, you see, my radio broke and Barbie Girl just was playing on full tilt, and I just got into it, started the disco party and dropped a wheel. Next thing you know, cut to in the wall, and all my dreams just gone. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. I actually was playing Barbie Girl while I was racing. It's a classic by Aqua, everyone knows it.
So that kind of note,
sorry,
actually,
Daniel, I gotta jump in on you real quick just because of the Barbie Girl, the whole veteran thing. I specifically remember a deployment to Iraq where the little joke going around my unit for one point was Aqua, the Barbie Girl song being blasted as we got ready to go on some of our missions.
It's a classic.
So, it is a classic. I'm right there with you, brother.
And now it's stuck in my head. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. So along with all the people watching the stream.
That's all right. We were at the racetrack this past weekend, Pit Stop TV and Flash Media, and there was a car that was just blasting Baby Shark for 10 hours at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So every time it came by the pit lane, we heard it. And there was at one point, he blew the chicane and came to a stop right as the song went safe at last. But, man, a really incredible evening of racing here, Daniel. And I've seen you around in a few series before and really kicking butt pretty much. And that's exactly what you did here at the start. But then we talk about your radio coming a little bit loose.
It was my radio, okay?
Right?
I have
excuses. The radio in Hogpen.
Let me just get my book.
But then what happened in left hook there between 3 and 4?
Listen, I said, okay, I'm not going to win. I'm going to try drifting, maybe take up a new profession. Clearly, I wasn't good at it, so I'm going to stick to racing regular cars and try to keep it straight next time. But no, in all seriousness, it was a lot of fun. It was a last minute thing. Like I'm not going to lie. I wasn't on top of when the league was starting and everything. I'm really glad that I caught it. I think someone on my stream said, hey, are you going to do the Operation Motorsport race? And I have to come out and support. You guys are awesome. Obviously, Theo, you guys may know him pretty well. He is working with Allegra Motorsport, so I work really closely with him. Great guy, and he's also taking part in the Moradness Karting Championship. And he won the last race at Mosport at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. So, it's good. I want to come out and support you guys. You guys are doing great things for motorsport and for all the vets out there, and just a lot of fun in general. And I wanted to keep it light and fun with the Barbie car. Unfortunately, it was a bit smashed up. I'm just looking at it now. Jeez, did I do that? I think it'll buff out, right?
Yeah, I mean, you had that contact, and actually, I guess I can have you elaborate on that contact early in the race, and then you spun and got the Armco, and it looked exactly the same after you took that fast repair. What did happen earlier on in the race?
Well, you see, that front right corner, I think it just looks better that way. So I wanted to make sure that after that quick repair, we just put it back to its original state. It's the, it's the Barbie mobile. That's the way it should look after it's dropped off the table. So, yeah, I mean, that's the way it is. It was kind of frustrating because I was cranking up pretty good lap times considering I had no headlight. And I was doing low 13s. I'm like, okay, not so bad. But it was just frustrating to see the time go away on the straight. But listen, self-inflicted. I only have myself to blame. And the radio, faulty radio. I should call Mazda and see what's up with that. Maybe take it in for some warranty service. and throw out that Aqua cassette for next race.
Maybe you'll have to find a new song next week to blast over and over and over. And
maybe I get the Lego car.
There you go. That might do it.
Yeah. Everything is awesome.
Before we let you go here this evening, Daniel, who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out after your, it was going to be possibly a winning run, but now second place, still on the podium?
Yeah, no, you know what? Congrats to Chris. I mean, he did an awesome job. Really, really controlled race. Didn't make any mistakes. I clearly did. I want to thank Barbie for supporting me along the ride. Operation Motorsport. Listen, great series, great people, great organization, a lot of fun. I really don't have many people to thank, to be honest. You guys are awesome. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting me. Jason, geez, the emails. I almost missed it, and you sent like 23 emails. I think you need maybe 24, and I might make it on time next time. But no, seriously, good organization and a lot of fun. And hi, Diesel.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, hope everyone's doing well and have a great night. Take care, guys. See you next week.
You too, buddy.
Take care, Daniel.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you, Daniel Morad, for your time. We'll see you next week, hopefully without the right front damage. And well, it looks like he got right out of here, didn't he? But back to you guys, Jason and Diesel. What an amazing race, I think, for us to sit back and watch. So I guess, Jason, I'll have you step out of the driving seat for a second. Diesel, what did you see from your end? And, how did you like the show?
I got to say I'm impressed. It was on par with the big shows that we watched in the early part of the pandemic. It wowed me. So you guys wowed me. Professional, broadcast, and I'm watching on a 65-inch screen down here, and I feel like I'm watching, like I'm at VIR. I just feel like I'm at VIR, and you guys were entertaining, informative, and it was lots of fun. And I tell you, the action was pretty intense. Watching Chris and Daniel, and then watching that race for second, third, and fourth, it was pretty convincing, and just gotta say, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, you guys made it easy for us, let me tell you. All the information we had, the media packets that we had, everything was really well done, like Daniel said. You guys made it easy for us to come in, pick everything up, and get going with a running start. Jason, we really do thank you and Diesel for having us. I know the initial contact between us was with you, Jason. You set up the Zoom call and everything, and it's been a lot of fun since then, getting everything set up. And this evening, again, just a great race, a lot of great action. What's your outlook in general, not just from a driver's seat, but just in general for the rest of the season?
My goal is that we take the momentum that we have tonight, and that we can maintain it through with the drivers showing up. We can't do this without the drivers showing up. They're the ones that bring the excitement and the engagement on track in order to help us promote the foundation, help us get our message out there. You guys are helping us achieve that as well. I also would be remiss if I didn't publicly thank groups like RECARO for coming on board and helping us make this happen. Our private, generous donations for our private donors. Racing Recognition for working with us on the trophy designs. And really Diesel's and Tiffany's, vision and focus and trying to continue to push this foundation, especially in these challenging times where 6 months ago we were just coming out of Daytona, coming out of COTA with SRO, and we were looking forward to the next track event. Then everything happened, and we had to adjust, and it's a team effort, and it's everybody involved that makes it happen. And again, it's the beneficiaries showing up, it's the drivers showing up, it's the general support we have that allows us to do this. So that's my vision, that's my goal. I'll continue to drive this Mazda MX-5 around the track and try to stay out of people's way, but I'm just glad to be a part of this great foundation.
and we're so glad to be associated with you guys now here on iRacing. We look forward to what the rest of the season has in store. Again, tonight was amazing, and it was a great experience to get hooked up with you guys and cover this first race on the season. We are butting right up against our time allotment, though, so that will conclude our coverage tonight of the Operation eMotorsport iRacing League. We at Pit Stop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Be sure to tune in tomorrow evening as we bring the return of the SRCA Indy Pro Series at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and again next Tuesday when Operation eMotorsport travels to Road America. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/pitstoptv, on Twitter at pitstoptv_, over on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, and on YouTube by searching Pit Stop TV. And with the addition of streaming now to Periscope and Twitter, we now stream to all four of those as well, so you can catch all of our broadcasts going to all four of those locations as well. So it's easy to follow us on social media, it's easy to watch our broadcasts, it's easy to keep up with us here at Pit Stop TV. For JP Costa with me on the call, Chase Shuttlesworth on social media this evening, I am Andrew Cardinale IV for Pit Stop TV, and we will see you next time. Have a great night.
The most fun and most rewarding single lap that we do all year.
Terrific natural terrain.
GT racing at its best.
Over the S's.
No free passes in either of these classes right now.
A lot of change of direction, very high grip surface.
You really have to be brave here on the opening lap.
Corner, corner, straight.
Elbows are up, Tommy.
A roller coaster.
America's motorsports resort.
Honestly, I'm going to have to go and see a cardiac specialist if they all end up like this year.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.